the fields. From the ice to the turf, we'll break it down. Discussing every win and every loss in town. We'll talk about the Canucks and the Lions. We are your irrational fans. We are your irrational fans.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live with episode 93 of the Hughes Sports Podcast. I am your host, Jake Hughes, alongside the old man. Old man, how are you doing today?
Hey, you got the pointing right this time.
I always get the pointing right. It's you that
You're
always
over there. I never get the pointing right. Always, you're over here, but I point over there. I don't get it.
You know, it's the magic of cinema.
The magic of cinema. You asked me how I'm doing.
Yes.
am doing pretty much fantastic. Wrapping up the season here for work. Just a couple more shifts and away we go. So life is good.
And then you won't be with us for like 2 weeks. Is this your
Yeah,
last
we
show?
got to
You got
talk
one more.
about that on next Wednesday. I don't know what we're going to do.
You got 2 more shows.
I don't know what we're going to do next Wednesday.
What? Why? Oh, next Wednesday. Yes.
See you next Wednesday.
I don't think that's a saying.
I don't think that's the saying either.
Very eventful weekend, not just in the world of sports, but in the world of the Hughes Sports Podcast. Some things we'll get to later in the show, but I want to thank everyone who came out and supported Extra Life this past weekend. Thanks to all you beautiful people who came, chatted, hung out. We were able to raise over $200 American for the Alberta Children's Hospital. If I'm going to do math correctly, I think that's like $850,000 Canadian. No, it's actually like, I think $280 Canadian. Yeah, I just want to thank you guys so much for coming, hang out, chatting, watching the Lions game. Despite the result, it was a lot of fun, and I am still honestly recovering from 25 hours of being on the air.
I'm surprised you're still on. We're allowed to be on the air after your shenanigans during the Lions game.
What shenanigans?
You were like way, way over the line.
On which part?
From the start to the finish.
I don't think so.
You had to take you were given a 15-minute penalty at the end of the game.
That was a
Self-imposed.
self-imposed 58-minute penalty. Thank you very much.
Too funny. I tried to watch or listen to you and watch the game, but I couldn't because
it was hard.
It was too much for the old man brain.
Well, it was hard because what I wanted to do was be able to have the video and no audio, and then be able to talk over top of it. So I could hear the audio quietly and then talk over top of it. However, the way the internet works, that's not doable anymore. They've actually blocked out the video, so I wasn't actually able to share the video through the apps that I was using.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
But it was fun. You had a good time.
Oh, I had a blast.
And you raised money for a great cause.
Exactly. Yeah, like I said, $280 raised for the Alberta Children's Hospital. As a team, I think we raised almost $1,600 American.
Wow.
Between the 4 of us. So
nice. Good for
you.
We
did a really great job this year.
Good for you. Proud of you all.
And hopefully next year it will be a little bit bigger. I have plans. I have ideas.
Oh, God.
But that means I actually have to start planning things like more than just 2 weeks ahead of time. And I got to start planning like January. So.
Oh, really? You mean these things just don't come together?
You know what? I keep trying to think that's going to happen. I just close my eyes and snap my fingers and expect things to happen, and it just doesn't work. So, you know,
it's funny. How that works.
But we hinted at it. Do we just want to jump right into it, or do we? Let's talk about the first game of the week in the CFL.
It's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Let's talk the first game of the week in the CFL. The Ottawa Redblacks go into Toronto and lose by a 20-point score, by a score of 58-38. Now, I know you were working because this game was on in the middle of the day on a Saturday.
And
Were
I
you able to-
wasn't watching it because my boss might be listening. So I definitely didn't watch this game at all.
So of course, just because you watched the highlights, what were your opinions and thoughts on the game?
Well, the score is really misleading. And unfortunately, I actually missed the fourth quarter.
Oh, so you missed
I missed
like
the
the
whole
most
game, but I missed the highlights of the fourth quarter. And it was a close game right up to that point. And I take the Argos with the quarterback that shall not be named, took over. And but Ottawa, I mean, give them credit. They hung in there for 3 quarters with pretty much, I'm going to say, one of the best teams in the league going into the playoffs.
Yeah. Looking like I obviously I was busy streaming. I had the game on in the background, but I wasn't able to watch a lot because apparently you get distracted doing things and like that. But watching the game back over the last couple days and through highlights, it really felt like the whatever adjustments, and I put it here in the bottom of the screen. It says second half adjustments worked for the Argos.
Yeah.
Like they were losing going into halftime, and they only gave up 15 points in the second half.
Yeah.
And they scored 38.
Big comeback.
And I give a lot of credit to the Argos defense because they are the ones who scored 2 of those touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Back-to-back touchdowns were scored by just interceptions because the Argos forced Drew Brown to be forcing the ball down the field.
Yeah.
Right? Like they took advantage of those situations better than most teams would.
You know what? Full credit to the Argos for the win, and still full credit to the Red Blacks. A lot of people didn't have them in this game whatsoever, and they held tight for 3 quarters. Lots of good things coming out of Ottawa for this season, and I think they're going to be a contender next year.
Yeah.
I'd love themselves a quarterback with Drew.
They got themselves a quarterback. They've got a handful of receivers.
Yeah.
I think the next big thing they really need to work on is their defensive line.
Yeah.
Because, and I say that, I don't know if it's just the Argos have a really good offensive line because what's his name had too many minutes to find an open receiver.
Yes. And that was the whole game. I mean, he had time where Drew Brown was running around like a chicken without a head.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, it's going to be an interesting Eastern semifinal now, Toronto versus Cody.
Eastern final, yep. Do we want to talk about that now, or do we want to get into the Lions game?
Why did you say it that way? Eastern final, yeah.
Because you called it the semifinal.
No, I said the Eastern final. Clear your ears. You haven't had enough sleep. Holy. Yeah, let's talk about it. I mean, who are you picking in this one?
I think it's going to, honestly, I think this is a game that if you gave me a half point in either side, I'm not confident in either pick. I think this is going to be easily the game of the playoffs. And I think this ultimately determines who wins the Grey Cup. It heavily favorited. I think Montreal has the depth. As long as they give Fajardo time, they should have the win. So I'm gonna take the Argos, or sorry, the Alouettes.
And you're right. This one is definitely the coin toss of the week.
Yeah.
I'm going with you. I'm taking Montreal because death, taxes, and Cody effing Fajardo doing his thing is all that we can count on. But having said that, don't count out the Argos. They're a smash mouth team, and they have a quarterback that has attitude, a quarterback that is an a-hole, and a quarterback that can throw the ball a mile and a half.
Yep.
And he does. So
look, we might not like him as a human being, as a football player. He is the prototypical perfect player for the CFL.
Oh, he is. Like he literally, when I watch him run and I watch him throw the ball, it takes me back to the olden days. When you look at like the throwing Samoan, or you look at
He reminds me of Damon Allen so much in
That's
many different
Damon
ways.
Allen.
I did
who
not know that's the name you were looking for, by the
No,
way.
but this wasn't. Who's the two brothers that were on the Lions?
Flutie?
No. Well, yeah, Flutie. Yes. Reminds me a lot of Flutie as well. A taller Flutie, but still a Flutie.
Yep.
Just an amazing, amazing talent in a piece of shit of a human being. And we always have to throw that in there just because
Always.
people understand. So yeah, no, I think this weekend, and I said it last weekend, if you haven't watched a CFL game, watch these two games, man, because it's going to be straight up fire. Where's that?
It's going to be a lot of fun. The unfortunate side of things is I have football games this weekend as an official during specifically the Montreal-Toronto East Final.
Yeah, and I'm working, so Cody, I won't be watching the game. I mean, I won't. No.
Okay, let's talk about the West semifinal, where the BC Lions go into Saskatchewan and lose by a score of 28-9. And 19. It's honestly, by the end of the game, it felt like it was only 9 points that we had scored. Thoughts on the game as a whole before we jump into expectations for the team going forward?
Probably the worst Western semifinal I've watched in my lifetime. And we have seen a lot of BC Riders Western semifinals. We used to host parties on a regular basis for this game, and have 20 people come over to the house. Start to finish, it sucked. We came out, we drove the field, we scored a touchdown, and then it was the most boringest play calling, the boringest play. It was just the whole game plan seemed to be, let's see if we can do absolutely as little as possible. And then on 2nd and 42, we'll throw the ball 65 fucking yards and hope for the best.
Well, now I do want to push back on that a little bit, because we couldn't see it on, like, it didn't look like it was affecting the passes that much, but that wind was swirling and whirling at Mosaic.
It was weird. At one time, on one end of the field, the flags were going this way, and on the other end of the field, the flags were going that way. I'm like, what the heck?
So now imagine you're a play caller trying to, okay, we're at the 50. Which way is the wind blowing right now? We don't know. Okay, we can't throw the ball to the outside flats because that ball is going to be moving. Like we saw it multiple times on the field goals for both teams, where the ball would start straight and end up going, like, not even curving, but just laterally moving mid-flight.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
I get why it was a boring from a play calling standpoint, but you need to be crisper from the Lions on all points of the ball.
Well, we didn't establish, like we talked about, what were the keys to the game. We needed to establish the run game early. We didn't do that at all. We had no run game. Look up the yards. I don't think we had any, like, more than 100 yards rushing total.
No, 41. Pathetic. So, but now the one thing I did really like was they got what's his name? The running back. Steinbach involved by throwing him the ball.
Yeah, they did. And he didn't cause a fumble this time.
He made a beautiful catch this time.
Yeah, he did.
The second
we talked about this off air, and we've talked about it numerous times, and it's been a real on my mind a lot lately. And I think I'm blaming Rod Peterson, because Rod doesn't have a team that he cheers for anymore. He just likes the CFL, and he just loves the NHL. So he concentrates now with the NHL, of course, on the Panthers because he lives there.
Yep.
But that's not his team.
No.
He can watch any game and just enjoy it for the game. I can do that with any other team, but when my team is in there, BC Lions or the Vancouver Canucks, I can't enjoy the effing game for it being the effing game because I have too much invested. I have too much emotions invested in the game, and it drives me nuts. I was sitting there. I was sitting there on Saturday, and you'll understand why later. But there was emotions here, and there was emotions down to the bottom of the ceiling or the bottom of the floor, and it sucked. It literally, I was like, for fuck, I hate this. I just want to enjoy the game.
Yeah. And it's like, again, we are dubbed the irrational fans. We are irrational fans, and that will probably never change.
No. And
But
it's my fault. I blame me for making you the irrational fan. I blame my brother Rick for making me the irrational fan, and my brother Mike. They both made me the irrational fan because they are irrational fans, even though they don't realize it and they won't admit it. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Mike. You're as irrational as I am, so get over it. But I love it. I wouldn't change it. I really wouldn't.
No.
It sucks they lost. I'm devastated they lost. But hopefully this will show that we don't have a quarterback issue.
No, we've never had a quarterback issue.
Not this year. We don't have a quarterback issue. We have an offensive line issue.
Go ahead.
We have a defensive back issue. We have, I was going to say a receiver issue, but I don't even think it's a receiver issue at this point.
Well, that's something I wanted to bring up. Who was it? Was it Hatcher? It was Hatcher. I love Hatcher. Keon Hatcher is a fantastic receiver. He plays with emotion, which I love. I akin him very much to JT Miller on the Vancouver Canucks.
Yes, very much.
You know when he's in the game because he's chirping back and forth. He's in the game. When he's not in the game and he's not focused, he's looking at the ref for penalties and he's throwing things around. And it felt like as the game went on and on in that down the stretch, 8 targets, 2 receptions for 47 yards. There was, of those 6 that weren't caught, I think there was 3 that I can remember off the top of my head where he was looking for a flag and got frustrated when it didn't come. And there's nothing more that pisses me off that makes me want to throw my flag more than when, and it's for me, it's kids. When a kid looks at me and is like, he touched me. It's like, no, he didn't touch you. You were running and you guys touched hands. Like,
and it's something that we've always commented on how the Canucks are really good at not doing that. I mean, you see a team like Edmonton, after every effing whistle, there's someone whining at a ref. And yeah. I just shake my head. And I'm not just picking on Edmonton. We can name 28 teams out there and they do it. And I'm like, yes, I get it. You're getting in the rest of the year, so they'll watch in the future. The Canucks don't seem to do that.
Well, and again, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but the issue I find with that is that, okay, now are the refs actually looking for that call, or are they looking at you complaining about that call and they're not going to call it now?
Well, and that's the thing, right?
Like, how much of it is you trying to draw a penalty versus play through it and maybe there's actually a call there?
And there was a couple. Did we actually use our challenge in that game? I don't think we did. And there was a couple of obvious ones where I thought, is he going to try it here?
The problem is until the fourth quarter, you had a thought that you were right in this game.
Yeah.
Do you use that challenge?
No business to be within a touchdown of this game.
But if
we didn't deserve to win. It's just that simple. And let's say it. I mean, let's make sure we understand. Full credit to the Riders. They came in and dominated us from start to finish. Bluntly,
I wouldn't say start to finish. I think they in that first quarter they were thrown off quite a bit.
Yes, maybe the first series.
I think first couple series. And then I think whatever. Again, I'm very big on wondering what adjustments were made, or if it's just breaking things
Do the
down.
Lions actually make adjustments? Because I don't see it.
They definitely
We get a
do.
game plan and we just stick to it.
I think we definitely do on the offensive side of the ball. And I've talked about it. I think the world of Ryan Phillips. I think he's fantastic as a player and as a coach. I think his time has run in Vancouver. But to be running zone for as long as you were, and multiple times where you're giving Harris all this time to be able to read and allow the receivers to find these cushions, or their play callers to be able to find the cushions, call the right routes, and you don't adjust.
It was crazy.
Not literally. If you saw me watching the game, I lost it because there was I think 3 plays in a row where guys got lost in coverage because you're sitting in zone, and there's no communication between the guys.
No, there's something not clicking. They got to figure it out. Again, people like, oh, but you won 5 in a row. You lost 1, then won 5 in a row. And I'm like, yeah. And then every other team started watching our film tape and our game tape, and figured us out, and we were destroyed from there on.
Yeah, whether it was in like the same game plan that we didn't adjust, whether it was the defensive structure. I wish I was smart enough to know and be able to go back and see it. But there was clearly something that other teams saw and took advantage of.
I think we rely so much on the bomb. It's like 30 yards plus. I was banging my head against the wall. I'm like, come on, stop. We need 5. You're throwing it 55. Why?
Well, again, it's something we've talked about all season is there's no time for Vernon Adams or Nathan Rourke to be able to do anything. So they have to go to those short throws for 1 or 2 yards out in the flats. They're relief, like the whoever's releasing into the flats usually, or they have a timing play where they're throwing it 30 yards because that's all they have.
Now you, during your stream,
yep,
I think you owe Mr. Vernon Adams an apology.
No, I do not. I was very clear on what I said.
You wanted him pulled.
I said if he doesn't get his act together in the last drive of the second half or of the second quarter, he needs to be pulled. He was not doing anything. At that point, we had scored 6 points. We scored 6 points on our first drive and nothing since.
Yeah.
Until that drive that I said he's got to do something or that leash better be pulled.
Oh, you were mad.
I was explaining it to multiple people. It's a win and go home game. There's no second chances.
Folks, if you ever want to have some fun when Jake's ever broadcasting, watching a game, just watch him. Even if you don't like the sport, just watch Jake because he is hilarious. I didn't realize how mad you got.
I blame you. I blame 100%. I blame you. But it's frustrating because I'm football intelligent where I can see things and be like, hey, why aren't we making these adjustments? Can I help you?
Did you just say you're intelligent?
When it comes to football, outside of the world of football, I can count by 6s. I can add 1. I can add 3. That's it.
Oh my goodness.
What's to come in the offseason? That is the big question I think we have here for the next so many months with the BC Lions. Maybe weeks.
We'll know more next week. 2 weeks from now. 3 weeks from now. Because Doman is a smart owner, and he's not going to do anything to put a dullness on the shine that is coming up as the Grey Cup. Do we fire Campbell? There's lots of opportunity out there.
We talked about it last week. I mean, Mark Killam being let go from the Stampeders.
He was the heir apparent here in Stampederville.
And I saw, and I was trying to find it before the show, and I couldn't find it anymore. That Mark Tresman, his contract is up down in. He's not being renewed from the sounds of it down in college football.
Oh, really?
So there are now rumors that maybe he comes back to the CFL.
There's a gentleman down in the States, very famous name in the CFL, by the name of Danny McManus.
Yep.
Lots of rumors that he's chatting with Edmonton. Could
Really?
he also be chatting with BC? So we said it last year, and I'm going to say it again this year. Going to be a really cool year in the off season. You got VA. You know he's played his last game as a BC Lion.
Yep.
For right now in this, because who knows? It's a CFL. He could come back.
To be fair, it's a CFL. He could end up staying with Nathan Rourke and making that work.
You've got Edmonton. You've got who's a young kid in Edmonton? Sorry, blank.
Trey Ford.
Trey Ford. I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves Edmonton in the offseason. Somebody offers him a good opportunity. So there's going to be a lot of movement once again, which is always exciting in a 9-team league when you get that kind of movement, because you could really watch and you can really get into the inner workings of the CFL. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. Sorry, I was going to spoil our surprise, but it was going to be fun to watch, and lots more coming on that.
If you had multiple thought processes in my brain.
Squirrel.
Have you heard of any rumors or anything regarding the commissioner of the CFL?
No, I even asked too. Asked a couple people that I've talked to over the last week or so, and it's silent. Which way it should have been until after the Grey Cup. None of this should have come out. I don't know how it leaked or why it leaked. Who leaked it?
And I think that's what happened was there was a leak and then the CFL confirmed it.
Yes, exactly.
Rather get ahead of
it and made the announcement, right? Again, people I've talked to have said the same thing you and I were saying last week is, man, we hope we get a business owner and not a football guy. It'd be great if we can get a business owner that's a huge football fan.
Hey, that's bonus.
Right? You get someone like Omar Doman.
Yeah.
He could be a commissioner of this league. He won't be because he's an owner, but he could be the commissioner of this league and do really well because no, he's never played it down to football. Doesn't need to. He knows how to build an effing business. Look what he's done. Look at the attendance in BC over the last 2 years. 18% increase in attendance this year over last year.
Yeah.
23% the year before over the year before that. So,
and the 18% bump this year was off of a year where we didn't really look all that good.
No.
Right? Like, it's not like the product
we lost in the Western final.
Yes.
We lost to Winnipeg in the Western final.
We even said this is a team that has the luck of being in the West.
Yeah, because every other team in the West sucked, didn't they?
Yeah.
True enough, except Winnipeg.
Yep. Talking of Winnipeg, they are hosting the Riders in the West final. What are your thoughts on this game?
Banjo Bowl. Oh, sorry. I think this is going to be the game of the week. They hate each other. Their fans hate each other. Just leading up to it, I'm looking forward to all the chatter. And again, I wish my Lions were there. But having said that, I can just watch the game and enjoy it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't care who wins. Either way, I don't care. Do I have a pick? Yeah. But I don't really care. I have no skin in the game. Just go
Again,
out there and beat the living turd of it each other. That's my hope.
again, you can enjoy this as a football fan and not as an irrational fan.
That's right. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. It was funny because when I wasn't watching the Eastern semifinal because I was working, I wasn't watching it at work, but I was able to talk to people about the game and try to explain why this is the greatest game. It drives me nuts. I'm gonna go off on a tangent here.
All right.
I was at poker last week and brought up the CFL, and 3 or 4 people right away went, "Oh, you mean the Bush League?" And I kind of sat back and I looked at him with my Hughes grin, and I'm like, "When's the last time you watched a game?" "I don't watch that shit." "Oh, hold on. Time out. You're telling me it's crap football, but then when I ask you, and I literally said, in the last 5 years, how many games have you watched? And you told me 0. How in the hell can you call it Bush League when you haven't fucking watched it? It blows my mind. Oh, it's a 9-team league. How good can it be? It's going to end. You know it's going to fold. 3 people all at the same time. Yeah, it's going to fold. And I'm like, you do know it's been around for 110 years. Do you know what one of them said? One of them actually said, yeah, so was slavery. I had to stop talking. I was like, I literally grabbed my earbuds and put them in the middle of the conversation. It was like, I can't deal with you idiots talking trash like this. If you would watch half the season, if you watched 10 games this season and then told me you didn't enjoy it, I'd be okay. It's not for you.
Yeah, which is
But
fine.
you haven't watched a fucking game in 5 years and you're telling me it's Bush League. Go suck an egg. I feel better now. I haven't had one of those rants in a long time.
I was gonna say we got a little off topic there, but
it just came to my head.
No, this game should be fantastic.
It's going to be amazing. It's probably going to be one of the classics in the CFL. I'd love to see it go to overtime.
Winnipeg did win 2 of their 3 meetings this year.
Yep, they did. One of those meetings, don't forget, Harris wasn't there.
Yep.
So I am officially picking the Riders. And it's kind of selfish of me, and I'll explain why later in the broadcast.
This is a case of what wins you games and what wins you championships. Is it defense or offense? Because in the West, the best offense in the entire West was Winnipeg. The best defense in the entire CFL, contrary to what the Smurf Mafia might have you think because of cherry pick stats, the Riders had the best defense.
Offense wins you games. Defense wins you championships.
But now you're
not just a saying.
Now you're playing that one game where you need your offense to match your defense.
That's why football, NFL, CFL, I think playoffs is the best, because one game, any given Sunday, any team can win. One game.
I haven't watched that movie in such a long time.
We should watch that.
One of the best football movies out there, if not the best.
Oh yeah.
Remember the Titans, Friday Night Lights. Those are great movies, but they're not great football movies.
Yeah.
Off on another
tangent.
Who
are you picking?
I don't know. I think I'm going to pick the Riders.
Yeah.
I think if their defense can do what they've done all year, it's going to frustrate the Bombers' offense, and they're going to be forced into making mistakes. And in case the TSN announcers didn't tell you enough on Saturday, if you turn the ball over to the Riders, they win games. Yeah, no fucking shit, Tips.
This is when Jake lost his mind during the game on Sunday. I totally forgot. He loves the announcers because one of them played for the Riders. The other one
And
is
the other,
just his lips are green.
well, you can tell. Like, I think it's great that they finally have two new announcers in Marshall Ferguson and what's his name, Nielsen. I can't think of his first name, Nielsen.
Yeah.
But it's great. That's fantastic. That's what you need, and they're excitable about the game. They call a great game if they're calling a game for their team,
Yes.
which is great. Fine, go be a radio host then. Go. You can't, and we complain about it when we get it in hockey. Oh, these broadcasters are boring. Well, yeah, they're the national broadcasters. They have to be unbiased.
Exactly.
But then, like, and I always point to it, and I'll always point to him, Peter Marr. Back in the day, listening on Fan 960, because he would get so excited when a goal got scored, no matter the team.
Yes.
But when Calgary scored, it was a party.
He took it to the next level.
Which is what you want.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
it just beyond frustrating to me, listening to announcers that are clearly biased that need to be unbiased.
And now, having said that, we are biased when we're watching because we're Lions fans.
But give me someone who's neutral.
Yes, exactly.
Give me someone who's neutral and calling it right down the line.
It's frustrating us all. Get out.
So now, man, I'm going to give you the floor here because my voice is starting to go on me and I need coffee, or not coffee, water. I'm going to give you the floor for like 30 seconds here.
What am I doing? What am I talking about? Don't do this to me.
You know exactly what you're talking about. Do you want me to click the button?
I will click the button.
Okay.
So when I was explaining, I was watching the game on Saturday, and my emotions were from being overly excited to being down all at the same time. The reason for that is Mr. Rod Peterson reached out and said, yo, the Rod Peterson show's going to the Grey Cup. How would you like to join me? So in an instant, I said, hell yeah. So I am heading down to Vancouver on Wednesday. We fly in Wednesday. And we're going to be doing shows Thursday and Friday. And then I think there was talk about doing a special show on Saturday. That's not going to be the HSP shows. These are the Rod Peterson shows. I will probably be a guest at least once, maybe twice during that 2 or 3 days. And then we're going to take in all the festivities, which is going to be amazing to be able to do that with someone who's such an experienced broadcaster as Rod Peterson. I'm going to be taking a whole lot of photos. I'm going to try to record as much interviews as I can, and it's going to be a blast. To say I'm excited is I can't think of anything else right now. I'm just solely focused on this. I mean, Jake and I went to a Grey Cup up in Edmonton, and it was our first time ever going. And to be honest, it was fun, but we didn't know how to do it properly. Let's face it.
Well, and not just that, it wasn't well organized, and there wasn't a lot of communication around things.
No, there wasn't. Including taxis.
Well, yeah, you go on a rant for taxis about 45 days on that. But the preamble, the festival leading into the Grey Cup was fantastic. That was very easy to find where things were, what was going on. I made a guy tackle a garbage can somehow.
You know what's funny? Because in my head, I saw you tackling that guy, and I'm like, no, that's not what happened. You made him tackle a garbage can.
Okay, so I know we brought it up, but so we're walking out, and I don't remember where we were walking, but we were like, it was probably like 10:30, 11 o'clock.
We were leaving.
Yeah, because it closed down. Because it closed earlier than we were expecting. We were like, what the heck? And then we were like, yeah, it makes sense. It's like a Thursday night.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever night it was. And we were walking up, and this dad and his kid were walking up. Just all of us two, my cousin Ray, these two were just all gooned up. And this dad is like, you'll just tackle anything, won't you? And I literally look over, and I'm like, bet. I look, and it's like, tackle the garbage can. And the kid just full on flies and tackles it. And it wasn't even like I was like $5 and I'll do that. It was like I heard the conversation, I laughed and looked, and I was like, fine then, hit the garbage can. And just full on, it was a beautiful tackle and tackled the garbage can.
Funniest thing you've ever seen. It was hilarious. I don't think there'll be a lot of garbage can tackling with Rod and I, but
Well, that's not a whole. That's you never know.
there will be a lot of stories to be told. I can guarantee you that. When you got a guy like Rod Peterson, who's literally been in the broadcasting business for 40 plus years, was the voice of the Riders for 20 plus years, and is still broadcasting and still hosting a very successful talk show focusing on the CFL and the NHL, of course, but he does focus on the CFL. It's going to be cool with his reach and his knowledge. It's going to be cool to kind of just be that fly on the wall if you want, that second wheel. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, and I probably should have asked you this beforehand if you were able to discuss this, so just shut me down if we're not. But do you know what events are on the itinerary?
No, not a clue yet. I know we're getting a press pass, and that's about all I know.
Okay.
I don't even know if it's going to be a press pass into the game. Doesn't matter to me. I'll find somewhere to watch the game, obviously, if I'm not at the game. But it's all the stuff leading up to the game is going to be the fun stuff. Plus, reconnecting with a lot of the media you and I have been able to connect with through the last couple of years. 3 years now?
It'll be 2 in January.
2. Feels way longer.
Well, I know it's confusing, but if you look at like 93, divide that by 52 weeks.
Yeah, okay. Fine.
No, it should be a blast.
It's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun. I'm there for 6 days. It's going to be a blast. So, not sure what's going to happen next Wednesday. We're still working on putting something together for that.
Next Wednesday or the 20th?
Next Wednesday, because I'm going. I fly into Vancouver at 9 a.m.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right. So whether we'll see what transpires between now and then. How's that? Well, we'll fill you in
as we know what's going on. We will let you guys know.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's super exciting. I hope you get some interesting clips, because if you can chat with some people down there, it'd be cool to have some clips to bring people from behind the scenes, some even just stories from you coming back is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But you know what else is a lot of fun?
I bet you it has something to do with a way to get tickets for events.
It's true. Because you know what is fantastic? Our sponsor of today's show, SeatGeek.com. If you're ready to experience the thrill of live events, whether it's catching your favorite team, seeing top artists in concerts, or enjoying a night in the theater, SeatGeek has your ticket to unforgettable experiences. And they've hooked us up with a code that helps you save money. If you use code HSPOD, that's HSPPOD, you'll receive 20% off your first ticket purchase. And why should you choose SeatGeek? It's easy. It's hassle-free booking. Easily find the best seats with their intuitive app. Transparent pricing. It shows you the price you're going to pay. But not just that. On top of everything, it tells you if you're getting a good deal, a medium deal, or a bad deal. Just by looking at the map, you can tell which prices are best for you and your budget. And again, you're able to save $20 off your first ticket purchase by using code HSPPOD at SeatGeek.com. Thank you so much to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's show. Also like to remind everyone that if you are a small business of any size, anyone out there, hit us up at hughsportspod@gmail.com. We'd love to be able to partnership up with you, give you guys a shout out on the show. And hit us up at hughsportspod@gmail.com.
Yeah, buddy.
And now we're going to do a condensed version of the week that was in the CFL, because we had a lot to talk about with the CFL, BC Lions, and the fact that the old man is going to the Grey Cup.
Sorry, I'm plugging my computer in. I just realized that I didn't plug it in pre-show, and my battery's almost dead.
Well, I'm glad you caught that before your computer died.
That would have been really bad.
I mean, I could have filled the next 15 minutes without you while you tried to troubleshoot it before you realized it wasn't plugged in.
Hey, did I mention I'm going to the Grey Cup? Oh, sorry. Carry on.
The Canucks went 2 wins, 1 loss this week, with wins against the Ducks and Sharks, and a loss to the Devils. And because we're short on time, let's just jump into it. The old man finally got his first correct week this week with the old man predicts hockey. I mean,
I was getting worried.
That Sharks game was very interesting. I don't know if you remember the Sharks game. We almost blew. We had the lead. We blew it, and then we Suter scored a second goal with like 38 seconds left.
Yes.
But the loss to the Devils. Let's start there because that was last Wednesday, and it was.
Hold on. Stop the show. DJ has something to say.
They're sending the right podcaster for real. Well, you know what, DJ? I appreciate the support. And remember how we mentioned that the old man's going on vacation for 2 weeks? There might have been an invitation in the mail again, but I think the mailman got lost on the way. You go,
sorry, DJ. It's your fault.
But yeah, the Canucks lose to the Devils by a score of 6-0. In a game where they just look lethargic, it didn't care.
It was bad.
Probably the worst overall game. The only player that I can say played even 10 minutes of that game, of course, was Quinn Hughes.
Yeah. And you know what? I could say it's probably one of the worst games they played in the last year and a half. Like all of last season and the beginning of this season. It was just horrible.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It was
get out of the comments.
And Shelovs did not look good in net or look comfortable in net. I don't think even if it was Lankinen in net, I think the score might have changed, but I don't think the result changes.
Nah, I think we still lose. Through any season, you're going to have those games where it's just like, okay, let's burn the video of that one. Yeah. Hopefully that's the one. And it might have been the kick in the ass we needed. Now let's not get carried away because the next 2 we win 2 in a row on the wet coast going down into California. But come on, it was the Ducks and the Sharks.
Yeah. If we did win those
good.
No. I believe the Sharks. I'm going to pull it up here. Have the worst win percentage in the entire league. That's not true. The Flyers have the worst win percentage in the entire league.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
The team that beats us no matter what. But
having said that, we beat 2 teams that we were supposed to beat.
Yeah.
And we went through a decade of not beating teams we were supposed to beat. So I'm happy. They've got 2 in a row. They play LA next to finish off their road trip, and then they come home for 6 in a row. I think they play 2 when I'm in Vancouver. So it'll be interesting.
It's nice to see them again win games that they should be winning.
Yes.
The last game specifically, and I know Anaheim is bad. Like let's not beat around the bush. Anaheim is bad, but that is the best I've seen the team look since February last year.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes it takes a game like that where you're playing a shitty team and you dominate the way they dominated. I forgot the score was, but 5-2.
5-1.
5-1. It looked like men against boys for most of that game, and that's the way it should have been because the Canucks are a way more talented team. But a lot of times it takes a game like that to really invigorate the team and they can go off and do wonders for the next 6 games.
Well, I messaged you last night during the Anaheim game that this road trip is exactly what we needed at the right time.
Oh,
Not only does Elias Pettersson look like he is actually having fun playing hockey again, he's skating well, he's playing well. DeBrusk was able to put in a couple goals, 2 in 2 games now. Again,
44.
Kiefer Sherwood.
Thank you. Every time I see him, I think of what's his name, who used to wear 44 for us.
Todd Bertuzzi.
Seriously, he's that type of.
Not as skilled. Don't get me wrong. We're not as skilled as Todd Bertuzzi is with his hands.
But my God, what a shot last night! And the hits when he hits somebody said it. I think it might have been the stanchion. When Sherwood hits somebody, it just sounds different.
Yeah,
It was. I'm just like he doesn't go out of his way. He's not a goon. He doesn't go out of his way to hit you. But if he has that opportunity, you're gonna know he hit you.
Yeah, and the big thing is he's exactly what you need. A good team has these types of players. A team that wins in the playoffs has these type of players, because during the game last night, and I don't know if you caught it, I can't remember who it was. One of those, I think it was Strome on Anaheim, literally took the time to take his glove off and flip off Sherwood on his way to the bench.
Was at the end of the period. That was at the end of the second period.
Yeah.
And I thought there was going to be a riot. I thought it was going to be a bench clearing brawl because Sherwood's doing this to him. Blah, 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 and then he's doing this. Like, come on.
Yeah. Like,
you saw him. He just took it was like, what the? Are you kidding me? Did he get under your skin or what? We haven't had a player like that in a long time.
Like, honestly, I think the last true one was Alex Burrows.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Like, gets under your skin.
Again, style player.
Yeah. But look what team we're talking about. Right. Like, those are the pieces that you acquire, and his contract, I think his contract is super small.
Yeah. We got him good. Like, I think he's one of the diamonds in the rough. For me, anyways. I've never heard of him before, and he came out of nowhere because I don't pay attention to every other NHL team because it's too hard.
Yeah.
I concentrated on the Canucks, and wow. Yes, it was Zegras who fingered him. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, so much fun. It's just fun to watch Canucks hockey.
Well, and not just that,
season in 10 games now, and it's just fun.
He's on a $1.5 million contract.
Yeah, cheap.
And he's top in the league in hits.
It's insane.
He's got 5 more hits than Jeremy Lauzon, but like there's a gap between second and third.
Yeah.
So it's one of those players that's just, again, fun to watch. You love him on your team.
He can make plays too. It's not just that's all he's not a one-dimensional player where he just goes around and hits like a Gino Oldchek used to be.
No, I mean,
he can pass the puck. His passing skills, his phenomenal. There's so many times I jump up off the couch, figuratively, because I'm old and I don't jump. On his passes, I'm just like, whoa, just amazing. I love that line.
He's he's on a 52-point pace for the year.
Yeah.
So far he's got 7.3 goals, 4 assists in 11 games, and just it's great. I love it.
How old
One of those. Sorry.
How old is he?
He was born in 1995, so he is
34, 35.
What?
No.
He's 29.
29. I was adding to you instead of subtracting.
Yeah. Yeah. 29 in 220 days, exactly, according to Hockey Reference.
There you go.
Something I want to touch on, because I feel like it didn't get a lot of media coverage nationally. Obviously, a lot of coverage down in Vancouver and across Canucks Twitter. But Hughes becomes the third fastest defenseman to hit 300 assists.
Who are the two above him?
Paul Coffey. No. Sorry, that's not right. Paul Coffey's behind him.
Yeah.
It's Bobby Orr, and I can't remember the name of the other one. To be completely honest, I'm drawing a blank.
Leach?
Yeah, Brian Leach.
Brian Leach. Just, two random guys in the NHL that nobody knows about. What drives me nuts, and you brought this up, was why did it take so many years to be recognized? And what did I say to you?
Because he's on the West Coast.
It's the only reason. You put this kid in New York, you put him in any West Coast, East Coast team, and everybody knows his name.
New York has Adam Fox, who's a great defenseman.
Yes.
And the rest of the league is like, he's a Norris caliber defenseman every single year, and he's not even close. Not even close to the quality of Quinn Hughes. Cale Makar, again, great defenseman, is more physical than Quinn Hughes, but does not drive play the way Quinn Hughes does. And if you look at the list of people that Quinn Hughes has surrounded himself with on that points list, we're talking
Bobby Orr, the greatest defenseman to ever lay skates.
Not
Period.
just that,
End of story. There's nobody better than Bobby Orr.
Brian Leach.
The second greatest defenseman in the league. Like, seriously.
But they have something in common. They played when goalies were on average height of 5'7".
Yes.
Not even a joke. 5'7", 5'8" was the average height of a goalie. You couldn't get the puck up. Like, you literally, it was almost physically impossible to get the puck up with the wood sticks.
Yes.
And this isn't being talked about. This isn't the lead-in on Sportsnet.
It's all they're talking about is Ovi scored another goal. Yeah, we can count.
Don't get me wrong. I think that's impressive as all hell. The guy is
we can count.
The guy's like 800
every time he scores a goal. I don't need an email every time he scores a goal. Okay, stop it.
Now, I get it, but you also have to understand this is a record no one thought would be touchable.
I just don't want him to, and it's not that I don't like Ovechkin. It's not that at all.
It's the just, fact that that's Wayne.
That was my era, right? That was my era. And I said it to you a while back. Is I wish I would have realized how good he really was and enjoyed it because I went to a lot of those games back in the day, and I didn't know we were watching. Like, I knew we were watching the Great One,
but. You can give a guy a nickname, the Great One, but it doesn't really sink in until
he stopped playing.
And you're like, oh.
He really was the Great One.
Yeah.
So,
right? I think that way with Sidney Crosby as well and Alex Ovechkin, like that area, like we've been so exposed to them, especially because you see every team sees every team every single year. You can watch every single game and see all the highlights. How long is it going to take when these guys retire that we're like, whoa, again, Ovi's about to break or is more than likely going to match or break Wayne's record this year.
And I mean, I guess it's cool because I'll be able to see I'll be able to say I watched both of them in my lifetime. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. I just don't want it done. I don't know why. I can't give you a rational reason why I don't want it done. But I should be cheering for it. I
get it. It'd be like, you know what, we're getting rid of I'm trying to think of something we're going to get rid of the center line because in reality, what does it do anymore in hockey?
See, that'd be weird.
And you're against it.
Yeah, because that'd be weird.
We're going to take the referees and put them in boxes on the side of the ice so they can watch on screens as well as on.
Okay, let's not get stupid. Let's carry on. We're getting late in the. I know you're tired.
It's changes that that instinctively you're like, no, I don't like that. Advertising on jerseys, people lost their goddamn mind over it.
Yeah,
who cares?
Enough,
now,
right?
now it's just like, yeah, there's a jersey and there's a logo on the helmet. Who cares?
True enough.
Moving back into Canucks world. Thatcher Demko was at practice today.
Yeah, big
Practice
news.
with the team, however, was not a full participation.
No, but it's
Meaning
a start.
He was out on the ice early, stayed out on the ice while the rest of the team was still warming up, did a couple light drills. Improvement.
It could be Dade. I believe the coach, blank on his name, Talkett said once he starts playing with the team, it'll be day to day.
But this is where I made sure I put it very specifically. He did not participate in practice.
No.
He was skating before practice and was there on the ice with his teammates.
That's a good sign.
Again,
I think it's 3 to 4 weeks away.
Swear to God, I know Dollywall is just Rick Dollywall on Donnie and Dolly is always just reporting what he's being told. But I swear to God, if that man says he's got another hurdle, there's some more hurdles to jump over. There's some hurdles, and we're 3 to 4 weeks away. I'm gonna fucking throw a water bottle.
Too funny. I just giggle. That's all I can do.
Something we haven't done. Anything else on Demko other than just it's good news and we're
good
excited
news. And apparently Joshua is right behind him as well. So
no, Joshua could start tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Could play. Talkett said yesterday that there's a likelihood that he plays tomorrow.
That'd be cool.
However, he was not at practice today, so there's concerns. I haven't seen any updates from practice. If there's any audio from Rick Talkett after practice regarding Joshua, but
interesting. Okay.
So we are day to day. Like Joshua's been practicing full practice most of the days this week and has been with the team this entire road trip. So good start. Something we haven't done. Canucks standings check.
And DJ, sorry, that's why you're not invited when Jake's away. Carry on. You guys have to pay attention to the chat if you're watching.
And if you're not watching, you're missing again about 42% of the show.
Yes.
Real math was done on that number. 42%. You can ask the scientists. Canucks standings checks. They are third in Pacific. However, they are second by point percentage.
What does that mean?
So the point system.
Hold on. You're gonna
this is
some stupid.
No. This is.
Why do I ask these questions, folks?
This is very easy. Because not everyone plays the same amount of games at the same amount of time. Point percentage is probably the way we should look at standings throughout the season.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Because it just tells you if you play a game and there's 2 points, there's a 68.2% chance that you get those 2 points.
Right. Who's in first?
The Vegas Golden Noodles would be in first by point percentage. And then the LA Kings. However, by points, the way the NHL likes to organize it, it is the Kings, Knights, then Canucks.
Gotcha. Cool.
So it doesn't really change. It just changes the order of the top three for wild card.
Yeah, no, it's good. Good stuff. Good stuff. I like it.
And now, old man, we get your predictions. We already went through your victorious week this week. You predicted 2-1-0, and we went 2-1-0. And this week, we have 3 games. We have the Kings tomorrow, the Oilers at home on Saturday, and the Flames at home on Tuesday.
Flames, we're playing, because the next 6 games are at home.
Yeah.
We play on the road and then 6 at home.
Yeah.
Oilers and the Flames. See, the thing is, I so want to say 3 in a row.
Now, in case you hadn't seen, McDavid is back playing tonight with the Oilers.
He is. I knew he was going to be in. The reason I'm hesitant to say 3-0, we're going to win. We're going to beat LA. I have a good feeling on that one.
Okay.
Even though LA is a good team, it's Carlos's team, and Carlos sucks. So, shout out to Carlos. I don't know if Carlos watches.
He
better be.
Okay, come on, get through your thought process here.
But see, if we beat LA and then come home and pull out a win over Edmonton, we could go 3-0.
Correct.
My worry is
to start a 3-0 run, you usually have to beat the first team and then the second team.
well, but what I'm getting at is we'd be on a bit of a heater going
Okay.
in against Calgary and be able to easily beat Calgary. My worry is Edmonton. They're going to be. Let's go 2-1. Let's just
2-1?
make a decision for Pete's sake.
Finally, about time.
I was trying to talk it out and tell people how my thought process works. See, if they go 3-0 and you rush me,
I did not rush you.
you rushed me.
We're 5 minutes over time. You did this to yourself by talking way too much CFL earlier in the show. So the old man is predicting a 2-1 week for the Vancouver Canucks, and he's also predicting that the Riders. Who did you pick for the Eastern? I didn't write it down.
Montreal, Cody Fajardo.
Yeah, that's right. So he's saying the Els and the Riders is going to be your Grey Cup matchup.
Now, why would I want the Riders to be in the Grey Cup?
Well, I'm just going to go out on a limb here that you think it'd be pretty cool to go see a Riders game with the former voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Mr. Rod Peterson.
I mean, we won't go there. But let's face it. Winnipeg fans will come in and they'll drink tea. They might have a cup of coffee in the morning and then they're going to drink freaking tea. And they're going to get dressed up as Smurfettes and they're going to hug each other and maybe give the old tongue kiss to their buddy.
But now playing devil's
Rider
advocate here,
fans going to come in.
they're going to put a watermelon on their heads.
They're going to put a damn watermelon on their head.
They're going to paint themselves like
strip
Shrek.
naked and paint themselves green. And they're going to drink so much damn beer.
And that's just like the Thursday and Friday leading up to and Saturday leading up to Sunday.
It'll be just way more fun if the Riders are there. Come on.
But we've been to the festivities before. The Riders tent is where it's at.
Every time.
Right? Like I remember we went to the Lions one and I was like, okay, like there's some fans here, but it's kind of boring. There's not a lot going on.
It was pretty small.
I was just going to say every single one of the teams had their own room.
They were small.
The Schooners even had a formal dinner that you could go to.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that.
We stood in line for a little while trying to figure out what the hell it was.
And then we realized you needed a ticket and it was a fancy dinner and we had already drinking way too much to go down that road. And then you walk into, so every single room was just a single like hall, like single room out of a hall with dividers. Then you walk into the Riders, they have a live band going. It's like double, if not triple the size of everyone else, 5 or 6 times the amount of people.
And about 10 bars set up all over the place.
Yeah. Like, I don't remember, I remember going up and getting drinks, but I don't remember waiting in line to get drinks.
No, not at all.
Like, they were quick.
We had the tub girl rate me over to the side.
See, you remember way more of it than I do.
And yeah, then we lost Ray. Why do we always lose Ray?
I think it's at this point. I think it's starting to become a Ray problem, and not
definitely
an us
a Ray problem.
It's not a Jake and Kevin problem. It is a Ray problem.
It's a Ray problem.
But I think that about wraps it up for this week's show. Stay tuned to social media to find out what's happening for next week's show. As the old man has something to say.
Can we talk Sportsnet, or is it too late? Nah, we'll save Sportsnet for next or when we get back.
Either when you get back or next week.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to get any better.
No. Carry
on. Keep an eye out on socials for what the plan is for the show next week. We'll post it as soon as we know. Follow us at HSP_pod on X, Twitter, or whatever it is you want to call it. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, everything, everywhere you can find us. The best thing you can do to support the show, other than going to SeatGeek.com and use code HSPPod, is to share it with a friend, family member, or random person on the internet.
Just share it.
Just share it. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, Tell your dog. Really, we don't care who listens as long as people are listening and come back and tell us that we're geniuses for talking irrationally as we are.
They could
But
tell
until
us
next,
we're idiots.
to be fair, that's true. You could. I mean, it's you wasted your hour listening to us. If you want to call me an idiot, that's on you. But until next week, have
So
yourselves
dumb.
a